Just be aware.
Yeah. They basically they basically sand down your teeth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They sand down your teeth into a nub to then put a cap essentially on top of it that's entirely fake.
Right.
And so when that veneer fails, then usually plaque gets in the inside of the tooth and then completely like ruins the tooth.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a point where in like 10 years that you won't even have nubs. You'll have nothing. And then what they end up having to do
Wait,
is
so
drill a metal into your jaw to
oh.
give you a stud that then they can put dentures because that's all that's left.
So when they start the process of filing your teeth down,
It's the beginning of the end.
Okay. Really? Why? Why is that? Why do they get worse? If they have like a covering on for them.
Because it's a covering, but then it's a seal. So they have the nub of the tooth, and then they put the cap on top of it.
Yeah.
And then you eat and drink and do other stuff, and then that seal here rots, and then the inner tooth, once you can't clean it, rots.
Is that not similar to how fillings work then too, in a way? Or crowns?
No. Crowns, yes. Crowns, essentially, yes, which is why every 10 years you have to like get them replaced, and usually crowns end up becoming root canals, and it kind of becomes a problem.
Yeah.
That's why they say the best thing to do is to just brush your teeth, because once you get to the point of a crown will have the same problem. A veneer is basically just an entire cap, and then when they do that, once that if that gets damaged or once that rots away, like putting on veneers, removing a veneer and putting on a new veneer, like
not quick and easy.
Not quick and easy. Yeah. So what ends up happening is that you'll end up losing the nubs, and then when you lose the nubs, you have to go to dentures. So then they just basically put metal studs, they drill them into your jaw, and then you have screw-in teeth essentially.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. But then the problem is that because you have no more structure in your mouth, you lose your gums. Your gums need something there. Otherwise it recedes.
Right. Yeah.
So when you get to the point of them just drilling that in there, like then you just have
then you're just all teeth. All dentures.
Well, you're just all teeth, and you don't have really good gum health.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not a
gingivitis.
I'm not a dentist, but you can look into it. It's just there's a lot of people go for the veneer route because it makes their teeth, people who are like insecure about their teeth, makes their teeth look good. But there's a lot of like byproducts.
I think we all have somebody in mind that's gotten some veneers that are like, oh, that's a choice.
No, you see it. It's like your teeth look too good.
My spicy take on that is like, why not just color them a little off, you know, like add a little bit more yellow, make it look a little bit more realistic. Because I get it. Like having
that's a
perfect,
thing, isn't it? That's a thing, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not. All I know is that when I see what I quote unquote can identify as veneers, they look like just fake artificial teeth.
Yeah,
like they're just perfect.
Veneers look a mile away.
Yeah. And it's not even just the color; it's just the perfect uniformity. Yeah, you can get braces and you can fix up your teeth, but you can tell if they're natural too. It's like nobody's teeth are perfect, right? Like, I don't know if you could pull up Mr. Beast so everybody can see a little representation of what I'm thinking about right now.
Or the guy in the
Jimmy?
Trivago commercial.
Wait, what?
Have you not seen that?
No.
Gucci Mane
oh my god!
You can just tell.
A lot of people have. I was watching a comedian. She went and got veneers. Once she was becoming a little bit bigger.
Look at the
Trivago commercial teeth.
Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
He didn't go to Trivago.
Dude.
Yeah, I mean, you just see him and then you know it.
Yes, man.
Yeah,
I love it,
dude.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was watching this comedian. She was talking about how she got her veneers, and she was in there in the office getting them ground down to have the caps applied.
Yep.
And then went and had to go to the bathroom. And she's like, "Oh no, I have to go to the bathroom. I can't look in the mirror. I cannot look in the mirror." She looks in the mirror, and it's just like nubs, all teeth nubs when she smiles. I could not imagine.
No.
That sounds pretty cool, honestly. Just like
Um,
seeing yourself deformed.
I could
Sounds
see
like a nightmare.
Well,
That-
I took that back. So a crown is the nub that you put on top. A veneer is just on the front.
Oh, she definitely did like a weird full veneer then, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that when I say veneers then, I think maybe I'm speaking more like a crown style veneer. Because from what I understand is like that's the new thing, is where they just cap the teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's capping the teeth, and that's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I've never heard of.
The things that people will do aesthetically to try and improve their cosmetic appearance that will forever degrade their forever health.
We only live once, guys. You know what? Do it. I say sign up, go. You can go to different countries. I know that in Mexico it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot
just
cheaper over
promoted-
in Europe. So I'm not condoning it, but I'm saying probably give it a shot. You know what I mean?
Trying to promote people to go get veneers.
You going
Oh,
on a
body
Turkish-
mods.
Veneer commercial.
Whatever you need to do.
a Turkish
live your best-
vacation.
We're gonna show up on the next show and we're gonna go like this, and we're just gonna have like the veneers, the bedazzled,
Yeah.
pulled out.
A bedazzled veneer sounds.
We should have
crazy.
FQS veneers.
Oh my gosh.
That'd be nuts.
That would be
Dude, NFC
disgusting.
veneers. You know what I mean? Like, the little chip that you
actually.
get in your arm. Let's put it on our teeth. Just take it out.
No, but like the FQS veneer, just so that like this. You know, like all the rappers.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
Grill.
Grill.
The grill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll bring it back. We're bringing it back.
Sculpture grill.
2004. We're going back to the grills. There's a whole song about it. That would be a good intro
What is that song?
Huh?
What is the name of the song?
Let Me See Your Grill by
Oh.
Paul Wall.
I don't think we're allowed to play that.
Wait, you haven't?
You gonna pull it
You
up?
know who Paul Wall is? You don't know who Paul Wall is? My God. Do you know who Paul Wall is?
Oh yeah. Are you kidding me? I have no idea who it is.
Paul Wall.
This is what I live
Paul
with now,
Wall.
guys. I live with people.
This
who-
guy?
Yeah. He was in 2008. Like Mike Jones, Paul Wall, like Dirty South, Chopped and Screwed, the Dallas hip hop scene and rap.
Nah.
Yeah, he had a whole song about "Let Me See Your Grill." You want to see my what? And then he had his whole grill thing. That was very much like that was the early 2000s. Not early.
I could
Well,
tell
like,
by the
well,
photos. Fully.
Welcome to the
24-inch rims.
welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
We're talking about
well,
grills.
You get it talking about grills. Yeah, welcome. I'm glad that we're all settling in, talking about grills and talking about teeth.
Mhm.
This is episode 2. We're on the second one.
Episode 2.
We got past the first one.
Yes.
We heard the second one.
I don't know if you guys
It's
have
only
noticed.
downhill from here.
Oh, fully down. Well, I'm rolling currently. I'm already like.
You're already rolling down the hill.
I'm doing that cheese run right now in my head where I'm just like
Cheese
flopping
run?
down the hill for the podcast. Yeah. Like we're just full sprint going down
Never
this
heard
hill.
of cheese run.
Pull it up, Nick. We need to see.
Oh my
Have you not
God.
seen Cheese Run?
Cheese run.
It is it's a sprint race where somebody rolls a full block of cheese,
A wheel of cheese.
a wheel of cheese. It's not a block, you're right. This isn't Minecraft. It rolls down the hill, and the goal
A
is
block of
to
cheese.
the goal is to catch it or be the first one down the hill.
Yeah, the first one down
And then
the
you get
hill
the
gets
cheese.
the wheel of
The
cheese.
Gloucester cheese rolling competition.
Dude, this is massive. I really can't believe you haven't seen this. This
Well, I
is
can't believe you guys don't know who Paul Wall is. So I
That's
think
a
we're
fair-
just
I
even.
mean-
we're both balanced
I
now.
think this is probably more cultural relevant than whoever that guy was. But
I don't know. He was pretty culturally relevant for the U.S. at the time.
well, anyways,
America.
this is
This man.
so much fun. If we could watch,
See
I
what
don't know if
happened in
there's a
America?
video of it or anything. This is just
Is this in America?
no. I think it's Scotland.
It's where?
Scotland,
British.
British.
somewhere over
British
there.
cheese
That
rolling.
is very British of them. Have a cheese rolling competition.
It is.
I don't know.
It is hilarious. Can we look up like just a funny clip video of it real quick? I just want to see.
The world's stupidest competition.
It is hilariously dumb. It is. You just see people flailing down the hill because they lose control instantly. and they're
I
ragdolling.
like how our algorithm is basically cheese rolling, armored MMA, and Jeep racing, and idiots at work. We really have a
But
diverse
here we
viewing
go.
history.
So
I think that's a great viewing history.
they roll this
What?
cheese
Great.
down the hill, and then people just fly themselves at it.
Yes. Is it playing?
Yeah.
Oh, we can't see it.
We can't see it.
You cannot see it.
DMCA.
Interesting. Well,
that's a cool technology feature we just learned right now, live, guys.
oh,
Is it
Yeah.
actually? Is that
that's
a thing?
probably
That's great. I've never seen that.
it's probably the anti being able to watch stuff. Yeah,
Is that actually a thing on YouTube now? They made that. So
it's been a thing.
You can't screen share.
Like you can't screen share on Discord.
You can't
Like
screen share YouTube on Discord.
Just like
Right.
how on Netflix on your phone, you can't record it. I
Yeah,
don't know if you guys have ever tried.
Wait, what?
Yeah, if you were to go on your phone, watch a video on Netflix,
Yeah.
you can't screen record it. It shows black. It's because of the way that it's housing media. It's a lower level than the screen itself is presenting to you. So the application that reads the screen literally just sees a black screen because it's a lower level that's presenting that to you, I believe. So maybe that's how this is working too. I'm not sure, but
The internet in 2026 can't even watch YouTube videos now.
yeah,
Can't even
live.
share YouTube videos live.
How are we supposed to
Wait, how
react?
do all those people do the React streams
Yeah.
now though? Then
I don't know. Maybe there's an app.
There's a setting on the browser.
on
Mm.
that
Change.
you can do that. You can
Yeah.
you can make it happen.
It's like if you have hardware acceleration on, that will make it not able to show on Discord or I guess vMix.
Big Google cracking down, not letting us have fun, not
Yeah.
allowing us to. Oh wow,
Well.
see, I say that, and now Google's listening on my phone.
Yeah,
Gotta be careful. You can't.
Yeah.
you really can't.
Yeah, you can't. It's always listening. It's always
Shall we
It's watching you.
shall we go what
Let's
is
get
your,
to our
what is your hook?
Episode 2.
Let's get our
Sorry, guys.
let's get to our topics. We're all over the place. today.
Actually, before we get into our topic, sorry, Nick, but I don't know if you guys have if you've been watching our podcast for a couple of years, you might have identified at this point. We have this rolling theme. We shoot this on a Wednesday. You should know that it's live, but we shoot it on a Wednesday, and the reason I mentioned that is because the theme might be noticed. It is Hawaiian Shirt Wednesday
It's always Hawaiian shirt Wednesday.
at our office.
Show them off.
Thank
Garrett.
you. Yeah.
Garrett. Okay.
Please let me stand.
Okay.
Gonna stand.
Yes.
What you gotta show them when you gotta squat and
Ooh.
turn around. There you go.
Ooh. Okay, Cody, do the
If
same
If
exact
this
thing.
isn't a viral clip, I don't know what it's gonna be.
Cody, do the same exact thing. You got to squat.
Yeah, pop squat.
There you go.
Here we
There
go.
Yes,
Thanks
Nick.
for that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm glad that we've gotten that out of the way.
Got
Hawaiian
him.
shirt Wednesdays. Every Wednesday now we gotta have the shirt on.
Yeah.
So now the viewers are going to know though. See, so now
That's
is that your plan that people are gonna call us out in the chat?
That is exactly right.
Not gonna do it. So now it's like global shame.
Yes,
It's
it
not
is.
just like office shame.
Yeah. Previously, guys, it was demerit system, and we're moving that towards something
Global.
much more severe.
A global
Internet
demerit system.
shaming.
Internet shaming.
Yes.
Way to bring cancel culture into this.
Listen, we all signed up for it with Hawaiian Shirt Wednesdays. So, I mean,
No, it just was said that hey, we were gonna do Hawaiian shirt Wednesdays, and this is now a thing now, and then we all silently bought in.
oh, I was fully bought in
Oh, you're the one who
instantaneously.
has the FQN shirt.
Yeah.
Which is a great FQS.
Thank you.
Hawaiian shirt, by the way. Yeah, it's very cool.
All right, that's my spiel. I would
That's
like
your spiel.
to.
We're gonna actually get into our topics of today. Our
Yes.
topics of today is a special one. Mine is talking about how bad audio kills more streams than bad video.
No, give me a better hook than that. Stare right into the camera and tell the camera.
Bad audio kills more streams than bad video.
Why is that?
Why is that? Well, bad video just turns into a podcast. Bad audio makes people change the channel. Mic drop. Essentially,
No, you
if
can't drop the
think-
mic. That's bad audio.
Yeah,
It
please
is
don't
bad
drop my
audio.
microphone.
Damn, called me out.
Sorry.
Shit. No, but long story short, the topic that I want to discuss is, and the stance that I'm wanting to take, is that when you watch any type of live stream, when someone doesn't have audio on it, there is a higher likelihood that people are going to change the channel or turn off the stream than bad video. Because to the point that if you have bad video, you can always continue to talk, and people may not be able to watch, but they will listen, right? And if you look historically through mediums over time, we like adapted for video, but we started originally as radio.
Mm.
We started as talk shows and podcasts, and people will listen to a podcast without video on it, right? But if you flip that around and you have video, but you have no audio, people don't inherently know what's going on the screen if they can't see it. I would say any technical disruption that people have online, that they'll have a tendency to refresh or change the channel. But if they don't have any audio, then they're probably going to stop watching and they'll move to something else.
That's super interesting.
We've
I never thought about the idea of the radio being what has caused maybe our training more or less to be more audio centric and focused when
well, yeah.
deciphering if media is like good or not.
Well, someone said once to me that music, so video or like decoration, like decorates space, like music and audio decorates time. Is a way that you can look at it. And so people will listen to music or podcasts and they can do something else and they can multitask, but still listen. But when you're watching, like you're usually watching and then you're also usually looking for talking. Like this podcast is a really good example. If this podcast didn't have any audio with it right now, like it's kind of pointless because they'd have no idea what's going on unless there's closed captioning, which maybe at some point we'll get there that we can introduce closed captioning to our audience. But if there's not closed captioning, then they can't really watch it. It becomes a useless medium.
Yeah.
They can't perceive in a different way. So, and it really kind of shows its head even when you have like audio delay. When you see a bad voiceover job or you see a bad voiceover job where someone's talking and then they're saying something different. Like, I don't know how you feel about that, but it's always annoying to me when I see that because I'm always like, oh, they're doing it in order to attempt to try and translate. And I really struggle getting through those movies.
Yeah.
Or even on shows that we have been on, audio delay. If the audio is even like a second behind,
yeah,
the content basically becomes unwatchable because then you're so focused on what your eyes are taking in, and then if the audio is behind it, it just makes people mad.
Yeah, I think that they have to be paired together for sure. And if they're not perfectly succinct and you're watching and listening to both, then it just kind of ruins it for you because it's not like the whole idea is that it's as if you're there in person watching or listening to a certain extent. And if it's disconnected or like there's a glitch somewhere along the audio chain, yeah, it definitely pulls me out of it. I'm like, can they not just like go and figure out what's causing that?
We've had our
super
fair
important. Oh, for sure. Yeah. What are some examples that got us to the point where we feel like it's so important that audio's a pinnacle portion of our broadcast?
One show that we did was a show for a game release that had happened, and that game had a musical artist, and the musical artist was performing, and they had a front of house person. And typically when you're doing like live streams, you kind of know that especially when you're doing musical stuff, there is a dissemination in between what would be mixing for front of house and what would be mixing for a broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
A front of house just cares about the acoustic that's happening in the room. You got to be really careful about how you're mixing in the room because you have reflections, and then you're thinking about frequencies, and you're thinking about how they bounce around the room. You're thinking about dead areas and how you place the speakers and where your audience is going to be sitting. So you have to really like think all of that through, and then have your coordination of your highs and lows pretty set. When you are doing it for a live stream, you don't have to worry about any of that. So usually when a broadcast or a mix from front of house gets translated over to broadcast, it'll sound like poopy trash.
Yeah.
Because
We've seen that.
you don't need those highs and lows, and you don't need that. It's more of a flat sound that comes out, but it still needs to be mixed and mastered on audio speakers because that's how most people are going to be looking at it. They're going to be watching it on a TV. They're going to watch it on a phone. They're going to watch it with some headphones. They're going to watch it with some 90s computer speakers. They're going to listen to it with all different types of devices.
Yeah.
So it's important to have a proper mix sound that's going to ultimately reflect the ultimate home listening experience. Well, we did this performance, and the front of house guy had no idea how to mix for the broadcast at home. He just kept mixing for the room and basically straight up refused to listen to what we were hearing on the broadcast because I could hear it on my headphones and hear the confidence, and it sounded like garbage. And we told him, we're like, hey, we should go and you should take a look. I just want to double check with you that you're the expert of how this artist is supposed to sound. I want you to double check and make sure that this audio sounds good because I want to ultimately, supposed to be the reflection of the artist of what they're supposed to sound like. So you're going to have the final say in that. I want you to listen to this and double check that this is how you want it to sound.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, he listened to it. He goes, oh, yeah, that sounds a little different. I'll make some changes. He made no changes. So then it started being listened and everyone was hearing it and everyone started talking bad about it. And then we went over to him again and said it. And then he said he makes some changes. He didn't make any changes. And then we ended up having to go to him the third time. Because this is during the broadcast and it sounds really bad. And we're all complaining about it. And we go over to him and he goes, like, stop coming to me. I know what I'm doing. And we're like, okay, bro. Like, no problem. Like, I'm going to step out of the way. And then after the broadcast, it was listened to. And I'm pretty positive he was fired.
Yeah.
Fired to let go. Or if it wasn't, he got a really bad butt chewing. Because it's not that audio that came through was not reflective. He basically sent us a master feed from his, or an auxiliary from his board, and we just ingested it. We did no changes to it, and it didn't sound good. And then ultimately, it impacted the performance or the reflection of the artist.
Yeah.
So the
100%.
lesson learned there was just that, like, I think there's a lot to be said for audio engineers and the importance of what audio is for a broadcast, but why it's important to prioritize audio engineering in the broadcasting process, so that because if people are going to depend on auditory more than they are video, then it needs to be prioritized more.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think that the average human that's watching a live stream doesn't understand how much is put into a production to make it as high quality as possible. Nowadays, people can pull up OBS, use their headset, stream from their computer, and generally it'll sound okay. But as soon as you get into the territory where you're working with a larger company that has a budget that is trying to make sure it's going to be the best possible representation of their company and brand, it gets into a lot more fishy situations because it's no longer just this one microphone right off of your headset.
Yeah.
It's like these heel mics, or it's a proper lav, or it's a boom mic even. It could be a lot of different sources, and knowing how to get them to connect to a board or to a computer and then to EQ it and compress all of those things, it requires somebody that actually knows what they're doing, for sure.
Think about if we would have used this podcast with boom mics. That's why most podcasts are done with good microphones that people can watch and listen to versus, a microphone in the corner.
Yeah. And, I'd say that podcasting is a little different. I think this is the easiest kind of scenario that you can find yourself in as far as audio setup goes. Generally, it gets more complicated, I think, when you get into a larger production with different types of mics, different types of...
Why does that make it more complicated?
I mean, it's just the way that you're receiving the audio feed and working with different hardware. It's as simple as that. Knowing the individual hardware, what its peaks and valleys are for its own individual EQ. That's then sent to the board, which you then have to re-equalize to flatten it for the broadcast. There's a lot that can go into it. My question for you is, so you're working with a client and they have a producer. The producer comes up to you. They say, we don't have budget for an audio engineer. We can give you a front of house guy, but we don't have a budget for it.
That's
What do you say to them?
essentially what happened in that one show. And I think they kind of learned the hard way that it's like you have to have a mix down for the room and a mix down for the broadcast itself, and that you can do both. One person can do both, but it's not going to sound great. And ultimately, what's the experience that you're prioritizing? Are you prioritizing the in-person audience, or are you prioritizing the people online? And where
Absolutely.
ultimately is going to deliver you more value?
Unless you have the GOAT, Lee.
Did Lee mix down for both?
Lee mixed DreamHack front of house and for the stream, and then had Brandon go out and tweak it every now and then.
Well, when you have GOAT A1s, they can technically handle both.
It's
When
really
you go with the sauce.
It's really
But also to what he was doing. It was a DJ and some mics. You can mix down for essentially both. I think I'm reminded of a show that we did in Macon where it was like a 30-piece orchestra.
Yeah.
Having it, or more.
Whoa.
Doing a mix down for the room and doing a mix down for that, it in broadcast would be way more complex.
Absolutely.
In terms of making sure your highs and lows and everything sound good. But not to discredit Lee. I'm glad that he could do both.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that is a lot on one person.
It is.
To be able to manage. And when you start having higher artists that are expected to sound certain ways, it can actually damage their image if they don't mix down for both. Nothing against Lee. Lee is great. I really like Lee, and he definitely knows he's got the sauce.
So your position is, if you were to choose between like something that matters more, it's that audio does matter more than video. So you would favor at that point, if you were working on a production, getting an audio engineer over a video engineer?
Ironically, in video broadcast, video is usually given the highest priority, and audio is always slept on.
Yeah.
And it really needs to be the reverse, because video becomes the obvious thing in video, but audio becomes the thing that always becomes the bigger problem, and then becomes the biggest damage on a show. I can't tell you how many shows that we have video engineers on, and then the video engineers on go, oh, let's solve audio this way, without having audio engineers
like give an input
approval.
Yeah. Also, working with huge brands too. When you go into something with a huge budget, let's say we work with a brand and we've got a budget of $80,000, we walk into that show and all of our video equipment could be pretty substantial in price, but then we lav up the CEO with a $300 mic, a lav, right? And, are there better solutions for it? It really comes down to making sure that you have somebody on hand that knows good equipment and how to utilize it as effectively as possible to make sure that these things just don't happen. Because at a certain point, you can keep buying equipment, but if you don't know how to manage it and use it, then you're kind of SOL.
Yeah, you kind of toast.
Yeah.
But I guess that's where I lead into engineering on video or on live stream broadcasts. Encoding is just as important as video engineering, is just as important as audio engineering, but video engineers should not assume the expertise of audio engineers because there's such a priority given on it. Like we've done a variety of shows that we under prioritized audio engineering just for us to bite us back, right? Just even on like general FQS shows.
Yeah.
Right. a good example was we did a interview series where we had people sit down just kind of similar to this, and we had the interview set, but then we forgot to record the audio. Right?
Okay, I got to defend myself on that a little bit. Hold on.
I didn't say anything
Hold
about
on.
any. I didn't say anything about.
You brought it up.
I didn't say anything about anybody. But I'm just saying that
I was the engineer.
There's an example. It's an example of like a show where we have a product, and then the product doesn't have audio, and then we can't utilize the product. Right?
Absolutely, I completely agree. It is such it was a paramount mistake, really, and it was to frame the issues that we were recording interviews for somebody that we wanted to work with and have worked with, and the recording aspect of it failed for audio. It was just a bus was not selected properly. We heard everything perfectly fine there.
Oh yeah,
it's just a toggle of a switch, right? And it's something that simple that could get overlooked, and on that day it was. So
sure.
And then having somebody there that is within the audio world and has that focus and mindset going into it, I think that's the most important thing for sure, is to make sure that the product is seen through and through, not just the video. We had great video, not just the lighting. We had good lighting, but actually making sure that the VOD and the audio gets to the end result.
Yeah, and that's all I'm leading to, is that when you have type content like that, it's important to prioritize the audio, because even in those situations on any of our broadcasts, if you don't have you can limp your way through a bad video show. If the cameras were to go out right now on this and the audio is still going, we could still have our conversations, and we could still put something out or layer something on top.
Yeah.
When we, in a situation like in that, we were interviewing other clients and other people, it turns into a highlight reel that you maybe put a music underbed onto, but you lose a lot of the value of the topic. But that doesn't matter whether it's, I think the only time it could be argued counter would be like a sport where the video kind of matters more than the audio does. Well, you could probably get away with commentators commentating through the action if you actually lost like video. But I think of something like an esport or something like that, where you have video content where people are watching to watch the perspectives.
Yeah.
And they fail. And so then if people can't see the sport, then regardless of what's being said, like, people could be big mad.
I have an interesting question in regards to this.
Yep.
If audio, like you were saying, if you can watch a sport and you can visualize what's happening and that's all the information that you need, audio is invisible. So if you're working with audio is invisible. If you're working with a client and audio is working perfectly, then there's no issues. But how do you sell to a client, for instance, that you need to make sure that there are no possible issues with audio? Because when it works and it works perfectly fine, and you don't notice it. That's what I'm trying to allude to, is when audio sounds good, nobody ever thinks, wow, that audio sounds good. It just is there and it works, right? So
that's why I say it's the most assumed and most slept on.
Exactly.
Right? It's that people hear the audio and they go, oh, we have it, until you start leaning into like musical or other matters. It's always it's the most important but most slept on like role on a line.
Yeah.
That needs its limelight and its priority so that it goes well. Yeah. So I don't know if I answered your question though. Maybe I did.
No, I think that's totally true what you're saying. And my question is more so framing, how do you approach that with a potential client that wants to make sure that their show is as successful as possible? Like, do you have to steelman the argument that, hey, audio matters more than video, or is it?
No, I think that you have to remember that the clients don't know what the clients don't know. Mm-hmm. So they don't know the conversations that we're having right now. And at the end of the day, nor do they care. They're looking for an output of, if they're bringing on a production company or they're trying to bring on someone, they just care that they have a good product that ultimately either they're selling product against, they're selling their audience, they're trying to keep their audience engaged, that type of stuff. And they're putting their trust in the production company, that the production company or their partner knows and understands like where to put the priority on stuff with the budgets that they have. So I think that the shift is less about an argument about whether or not they should have an audio engineer with the budget. I think that leads more to the PM, the project manager, and ultimately knowing the client's output and being like, what's the priority of the client? What's the outputs and the level? How are we measuring success? How are we measuring success, and how does success look like for you?
Yeah.
And then it's up to us as kind of servants of that budget and that output to then make the correct decisions to make sure that we have the right redundancies and we're putting the best quality forward. Yeah. So I think it's like less upon the client, and it's less having a conversation about the client about who to staff and where. And I think that's more of like an effort of the production company to prioritize audio through its chains. Right. Or if you are doing it independently as a client, then you need to make sure that your audio chains are as strong and reliable as possible.
Yeah. And like you were saying with redundancy, coming equipped with some way of replacing a cable or replacing a mic or whatever it needs to be done, basically, to make sure the product is successful at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
We've been live streaming for many years at this point, and we've gone through the gambit of different styles of productions, where musical productions, interviews, podcasts, live stream, or content creator style live streams, and all of that has taught us so much over time. But specifically, like you mentioned, redundancy. It's just, we've learned that within this realm, there's so much room for human error or just happenstance, like a cable happened to get stepped on and nobody noticed it.
You got to have a backup plan.
You have to have a backup
plan, and you have to be okay with not just relying on one single source.
Yeah.
Which leads us to your topic.
Oh my gosh.
Of the day.
Yeah, guys, I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about redundancy and backups in a way. My whole thing is that I don't think that you build a brand on a foundation that you can't control.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is, when you, as a content creator or as a live streaming expertise company like we are, if we rely on platforms that we aren't under direct control over or don't have a say in how they're used, and don't have an alternative method of getting from point A to point B, and something were to go wrong with said platform, that all of our work in the past, for instance, if we're a live stream or content creator, could just be gone. There was a Discord leak somewhat recently.
Discord leak?
There was a Discord, not Discord itself, but there was a leak on Discord about a company called Stream Elements.
Okay.
I don't know if you know who they are.
I do.
It's a similar to Streamlabs, or it's an OBS skin, basically, a company that's reskinned OBS to offer services and solutions. OBS is a live streaming encoding platform that allows you to encode and stream to platforms like Twitch or YouTube or Kick, all of them. So this company called Stream Elements, there was a Discord leak, or a leak on Discord, that basically said that they are possibly going to be going under in the next 30 days. And this is very recent. So to
30 days.
Yeah, to timestamp this, I don't know how many people are actually utilizing their platform. I don't know if it's in like the thousands, hundreds of thousands, I don't know. But all of those individuals that are utilizing their platform and have all of their donations and Stream Elements, sorry, I didn't even mean to do that. All of their assets for their streams going through this platform might be completely gone, like within 30 days, which is, for some people that their entire business and income relies on, is not much time to figure out what you're going to pivot to, especially if you're fully integrated within their ecosystem. So my entire thought is like, how do you separate yourself from these potential future platforms that may stop working? Like, we've worked with we've worked with tons of platforms out there. I've personally used Streamlabs at home. I've used,
you use Slops?
Huh?
Streamlabs?
I've used
Slops?
it. Mm-hmm. I mean, the thing is they offer a service that's great. They offer packages basically and other services, but like you can get a package that will have a pre-built set of assets that you can just have and fly on your stream on your own. So you don't have to worry about hiring or even building your own graphics for your stream. It's just built into the system.
Sure.
So like what they offer is great, and it's great for the average user for sure too. But when you get into the nitty gritty and you're putting all of your chips in one basket and allowing your control to be taken away from you basically at that point, and a company was to go under or not have enough venture capitalists investing, then you're going to have to completely rebrand or, find an alternative solution. And that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of money sometimes to do that stuff. So what I really wanted to say is like, you need to make sure that when you're going into these kinds of realms that we work in within live streaming, that you need to look at all of the possibilities, all the different companies offering solutions, see if there's a way that you can do it yourself and gain that knowledge and ownership over it yourself. Or, if you're stuck having to use this one company, how can you circumvent that, I guess?
So I guess the question I would have is, I understand the stance. Where's the line for you? So it's like you have these creators that are going and building brands, and they're building brands on Twitch, TikTok. They're using OBS. They may have a Stream Element or a Streamlabs chat plugin that they use. They may try to use Restream so that they send it out to multiple platforms, right? None of that process, none of those things are owned by them.
Yeah.
So in your mind, where's the line that you draw where you're like, this should be owned by you, and this is probably okay to be owned by someone else?
It's a good question, because when you keep going up layer by layer by layer, you're going to get to the point where like, okay, so how much control do I actually have over anything?
Am I going to build my own cloud-based
Am I going to need to build my
platform?
own internet?
Yeah. ISP.
My own internet
provider. You need your own ISP.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do I need to put up my own
AT&T.
satellites to transmit my audio that's
You're just going to fight Elon.
perfect?
You're just going to build your own Starlink.
I think that
own link.
You can keep as much under your control as possible, and if it's possible for you to learn how to do it yourself, I think you should try to do that, coinciding with maybe using one of these platforms, especially if they're free. So really, I think it comes down to if there's an alternative that you can control, take that alternative first.
Alternative that you can control, take that alternative.
Right. So if you're able to host your own server that's able to receive a live streaming feed and have it all in-house at that point, and then send it to the end user, in this case, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, then that completely removes the need for something like a Restream. That being said, I'm not suggesting that you stop using these other services.
Okay.
I'm thinking that this should be something that's used in parallel with these other platforms as a redundancy. So that was the whole point. It's like, you don't want to have your foundation on them, where if they were to lose internet or their power goes out within their server, that your stream drops because of that. You want to have them as a backup, or have a backup immediately ready to be used if that does happen. That's basically where
it's more developing the backup than it is reducing your reliance on others.
It is,
because I feel like you can get to the point where everything's like doomsday preppish, where you're like, I have solar power to
100%.
power my house with a water powered windmill, and battery backups to my stuff that I have built myself with lead acid batteries.
Right.
That has an RTMP server that I painstakingly made out of.
It sounds like you're talking from experience, Cody.
A Handbrake or whatever command line.
Yeah.
On a
Your
Linux machine.
FFmpeg is running transcoding.
FFmpeg with a I don't know. I'm trying to really like dig deep with a vibe coded local machine graphics engine that I built from Claude that lives locally, so that I don't have to use Stream Elements.
Yes.
I'm running out of breath, but
nail on the head, Cody.
That's it. That's where we're going with this. Is we're going doomsday prepper.
Doomsday.
We're gonna just yeah.
Let's be realistic about it. It doesn't have to be that severe. It can just be you just taking a moment to think about what you, in the chain of you starting your job here, if you're a live streamer or a brand that's trying to live stream from point A to point B, what could break and what can you control?
So let's like lean in on Stream Elements then. So obviously Stream Elements is going down. People are looking for alternatives. What are the alternatives that are out there for them that they can go and use that provide them similar results?
I mean, the industry standard is going to be OBS. It is not necessarily as
OBS is like the
or user friendly.
Well, Stream Elements and Streamlabs and these others all use OBS. OBS
correct, but the server that they may be hitting may be different as well. It depends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, what I'm talking about isn't necessarily the aspect of streaming, but it's also like the content that's hosted on their platform. So like all of your graphics, all of your widgets, all of your donation links, all of those things. That's that aspect of it that I'm talking about.
Sure.
The streaming aspect itself, like you could get, like if you're just trying to broadcast, you can get encoding boxes. Basically, they're expensive, but you can find companies that are able to create and encode video streams and then send it to whatever platform you're trying to stream to. So like there's a physical box that you could buy to do that and facilitate it. But
so that's what I was meaning was more like, so Stream Elements, people are out. They don't have that graphics engine now to run their stuff. Obviously, they're probably using OBS. Other alternatives that they need to be looking into now that are reliable, that can get them the chat functions and the Twitch alerts and the other stuff that they need.
That's where it gets a little bit hairy because like these systems are they're really powerful and they've got a lot
Knut uses it. Homie.
Does he?
Homie
Knut. They're powerful. Like what they offer you, it takes a lot of dev and R&D to make sure it functions properly, like chat integrations, using bots in chat for moderation, flipping services. Like what they offer you is fair and valid if you're a content creator. I would say it would just take more legwork on you basically at that point to be able to do what it's trying to do. Like I don't know if the average person could create a Twitch bot, but there are other bot services out there that can go through chat and moderate and facilitate donations. You can even just have a PayPal link, right?
Is a good one. Muxy is one that I used for a while that has very similar chat responses and bringing in tipping and donation that you've toyed around with. I saw Nerd or Die there. Nerd or Die is a pretty typical alternative. Yeah. But usually do they have their own graphics engine now? I thought they just made a bunch of graphics that you could use as a part of your build, unless it just goes straight into OBS, and OBS just has like the widgets. But
I guess at that point, how do you get away from OBS if everything's getting skinned over OBS?
OBS is open. So I mean, at some point you're going to have
assuming
to
that might be a failure point.
Well, I guess that's where I'm looking at your lines. Like at some point you have to rely on others, but I think there just becomes a point where you're relying on others for revenue versus like making your own pipeline. So I guess with your point, like taking that a step further, I think there's like a definitive line in the sand that you need to draw when you build up an audience to a certain point. Then you need to gain ownership over your audience yourself versus having an audience that's kind of loaned out by others. And so to me, it's less about like trying to figure out how to get away from OBS, and it's more how to get away from platform dependency. And by platform dependency, what I mean is that you're a YouTuber. You built up your audience. You have 1 million YouTube followers.
Yeah.
You're monetized through YouTube. You make that ad money. You put out a video. You accidentally, instead of checking that it's for adults only, you put it for little kids.
Right.
And it's offensive to little kids. Somebody flags it. You get demonetized. Your potential page gets demonetized. You lose your channel of funding that ultimately like pays yourself. And so then the question then becomes is if your all audience is on a platform that you can't control and you can't moderate and you can't deal with, how do you reduce your dependency on that? And I guess when I think about that, my thought process is that you build up reliance through either multiple platforms, or you build up your reliance through texting or email, things that you actually can own. So when you start diving into this, it's like no one can take away an email list from you. You can always email. You can always have this email list and have it, and you can send out when you're making content that can ultimately be watched by others. Instead of just having all of your ad revenue come through YouTube, you could go and have a Patreon that then gives you monthly subscriptions stuff, or I'm trying to think of another one that's not Patreon, but the only one I think of, see, Nick's giving me a look, OnlyFans.
I mean,
right? But that's what it was originally.
It's not only for, right? Exactly. It was meant to support creators.
Is that what it turned out to
Ko-fi?
be? Huh?
Ko-fi?
Is that another one?
Yeah, it's like buy me a coffee.
Okay, so there's other platforms that you can do that can ultimately build your reliance outside of just the
a PayPal link.
Yeah,
literally.
Yeah, you could do that. PayPal link.
I don't know if they do a recurring payment, but
they don't do really well. They do recurring payments, but they don't really have like the levels that something like a Patreon has.
Right.
You can look at like good examples of people who have kind of broke off of the internet to build their own platforms. Is like Viva La Dirt League, which was a group that built their video content mainly around. They first did like spoof Witcher and other music videos, and then they moved from that type of content into like Dota and like League of Legends stuff, and then they moved from that into actually like skits and like different if Call of Duty was actually in real life, like how would it play out and like that type of stuff, all like things that gamers run into. And they've had that video series, and they broke it off, and now they have their own website, that they have their own subscriber-based content that then you can log into and then watch, but then you're ultimately paying directly them. You're not paying a platform that like pays them. Another example would be Dropout TV.
Or to bring it back to last week, Critical Role.
Or Corridor Digital.
Yeah,
right.
Self-hosting.
Basically, you build the idea is that you build up a large enough audience that then you do not have to rely on that channel to give you a back end deal. You kind of just make your own deal.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that that's more of like the exploratory of building your brand on something that you own. There's just a level to it where you have to start thinking about what's best for your audience and being able to communicate to them. That's why people make so many Discord servers. But Discord servers are kind of risky, right? If someone goes in there and they put something bad and Discord comes on you and they blow up and they nuke your server, and that was the only way you could communicate to them. That's why a lot of people typically go with like text chains, email lists. A lot of old school promoters, like in the nightlife industry, are all about like an email or like a text.
Yeah.
Like a text group where you just get texts for when the next party or when the next thing is going to be.
So basically, you're trying to find a way to diversify the way that you can have a community.
Yeah, so it's like risks. So I look at like when I see this type of topic, I see it as maybe less like the reliance on stream elements is a problem, and then you have to find another solution. But there's other solutions out there, but is it worth it for you to actually like invest in trying to build your own? There's vibe coding. It's 2026.
Yeah.
You could probably get away with maybe building one of those, but it's probably just easier to pay the, $2.99 a month or $10.99 a month to get whatever the graphics and all the stuff loaded, so someone else is taking care of it, and you're not having to worry about it. But when it comes to affecting your income, that should be treated like entirely separate, where it's like, how do I diversify my revenue streams to make sure that no matter what, I'm delivering content to people, and that the ability to deliver my content isn't at the risk of being banhammered by an organization that you cannot control.
Yeah.
And I think we can even just look at the current current content economy, almost, so to speak, about where people are having to put what types of content and where they're making it best. Like Fish Tank, their whole ethos is all about like sending people to their website, and then they have they stream on Kick, and they used to stream on YouTube, but YouTube.
So it's almost like a capturing method. They're using these larger platforms to capture an audience to then translate to where they actually store and house their content.
It becomes the question of do you build it yourself or do you let someone else take it? And I think that your content is ultimately your most valuable piece of the puzzle. Just like how audio is an important piece of the puzzle, your content is an important piece of the puzzle, and how it gets delivered to people, and how can it easily be found.
Yeah.
I think
this works for content creators and brands. It's like you got to start with diversifying what platforms you use.
Yep.
Then you got to start with trying to capture that content and host it yourself. And then, from there, it's just a matter of getting people to that platform that you've created yourself that's hosting all of your content.
So to kind of wrap it up in a bow, what's the final word here? Is it that it's that making sure that you have robust systems to capture audio, and that you're a doomsday prepper in the woods, or what's your feel?
My feel is just if you know that if it goes down, or if it turns off, or if it powers off, or just glitches, have a backup. That's about it. I think it's just that simple. It's having something in place ready to go in case what you're putting all your eggs in breaks. I think it's just that straightforward. Obviously,
don't put your eggs. I mean, maybe it's just the bigger thing is don't put all your eggs in one basket.
That's exactly it.
It has to deal with your income, whether it has to deal with your broadcasts, whether it has to deal with your live stream or your content.
Yeah. I do have one quick question. I think we're about to wrap up, but before we do, there's been this feeling within the content creation community in the past. Ludwig Ogren, he's a famous live streamer. He's previously said stuff along the lines of that you should probably try to only stream to one platform, because that's going to be where your base follows you and continues to come back to find you. And the more you get within that platform, the better you're going to do. Nowadays, he's kind of moved his stance to, you know what, go everywhere. Try to put yourself out on as many places as possible. And then I think what he's trying to allude to is like capture your audience and point them to a specific place where you have your content. What are your thoughts on that? Do you tend to agree with that sentiment, or do you think that it's better to have like one larger pool, like a million viewers on YouTube, for instance?
It just depends upon where you are in the content game, right? I think initially you can go and multi-stream everywhere, and then when you're growing, then you need to then focus on like one channel that's seeing the most growth, because you're not going to be able to effectively. And there's multiple arguments from all sides on it. Multi-streaming, I think you should stream everywhere. Content, I think you should focus on content on a platform, because content and how people consume it is going to be different depending upon whether it's a vertical, whether it's a horizontal, whether it's a short form, whether it's a long form. It's kind of hard to ultimately like say. But then when you're growing, then goes back to the line of, do you rely on multiple stream of income or one stream of income? Do you focus on one, right? Or do you focus on all? And I think you have to have that type of focus. But I think we're out of time for today. I think we are out of time for today. We are at the end of the episode.
Okay.
We've made it to the end of episode 2. And we will see you guys.
Episode 2 and counting, guys.
2 and counting.
2 and counting.
We'll do something crazy for, I don't know.
Please don't say that.
1,000, 10,000, a million. Only a million.
We'll rent out a movie theater and host it there.
At
one day.
In a million?
Yeah. Or 100. As many as it takes to fill the seats.
As many as it takes to fill the seats?
Yes.
I'll be interested to that day. But from FPO Studios, I'm Cody.
I'm Garrett. Thanks for watching.
Next time.